Hello! How is everybody? I hope you're doing well. Oh my goodness, I am having a bit of issues, but it's fine. It's fine. Things are definitely nothing's on fire. Don't worry about it. Well, I hope nothing's on fire. Oh my goodness. My mother has gotten into the habit of just leaving candles in the house, just lit everywhere. And then leaving the house and stuff with loads of lit candles without telling me. Wait a minute. Okay, streams advertised. Why is that not posted? Post! Post! Internet. Your post must contain a flare. It does contain a flare. There we go. Post it! I forgot to post the last stream we did. Also, I'm a bit too big. I'm a bit too zoomed in. What's all the issue with here? But hello, Tony. Hello, motivated dad. Let me just get my commands up and running. Bossin. If I just do this. There we go. I'm in the correct position. Aren't you happy? Then we go over here. Hello. Hello. I feel like I'm sat in a kiddie chair because, you know, leaning over the models constantly. You know, we got the models. Leaning over my desk has been really hurting my back. So I've been like, you know what? Also, if you're wondering why I'm like running late and stuff, it's because of blooming VTS Pog again. It wouldn't. It took me like 17 times to blooming open it and get it running. Buggy time. Buggy time. Yeah, I mean, I've had lots of bugs. It's meant to be a relaxing stream, and instead I've just been stressed out. It doesn't help that before I was going to go to bed last night, I thought to just go quickly onto Rimworld and, you know, get a couple of things done. And then I looked at like a message I've had and it was like 1:30. It was like 2.5 hours late. So I'm like, no, I was meant to be here for like 10, 15 minutes. No! The KFC Tyranid. But not KFC Tyranid. It's like, this does not look like KFC. If this looks like a KFC, then you report it to your local health authority. But it's never quickly hopping on Rimworld, yeah. Didn't help, there was a bunch of issues. So I was just trying to basically get a mod working. But I did the arduous process of getting all of them based with purple. Every single one, and I used this cool Sarah's purple. I bought some Luxian purple because of how long it was taking. I'm like, you know, I need to have like a contrast paint just so that this process is quicker. Because the process of just basing every single thing with purple, like all the chitin, it takes a long time. Like each model, especially with my attention span, each model is like quite a while. Like even with watered, you don't want it too watered down because otherwise it's all streaky underneath. You just want to go layer up over the model. Make sure you cover all of as much of the yellow as possible. But as you can see, it's not just got the purple on the chitin. It's got, like, compare these. It's like this guy's much lighter coloured. And if you look, there's a texture to it. Because I went over with Gene Stealer purple with an old bit of a tattoo brush. And it's not quite dry brushing. It's not quite normal brushing. Basically, just gets your brush not too wet, not too much paint on it, and then you just quickly brush over like you're dry brushing, just constantly same direction to try and get this a bit of a slightly streaky texture pattern into it. Doesn't matter if some of it just goes straight flat on, but it's just trying to get like make it feel more like organic chitin, which is basically like lots of hair just focused together. So yeah, I think it went okay. I've not done this one. I actually went to with some Shyish purple just to see how it would look. It looks okay. There is no feeding frenzies.
There are no feeding frenzies, just happy little biomass gatherings.
Yeah! You tell them, the mongoose. Happy little feeding friends. I mean, biomass gatherings. Yeah. So yeah. I mean, the pink isn't too important. I mean, it is quite important to get that texture on, but it's not too important to try and get like a specific texture. It's just, you want to create different zones of where it's lighter and where it's darker. As long as you've got that going on, it's fine. It just gives it this much more free, organic feeling. Hello, the Gumpy Slump. Pool parties. Pool parties. How are you doing? Oh, but yeah, how is everyone doing that actually? How are you? I hope you all doing super well. Big love hearts to you all. But yeah, it took for getting this done here with all the pink. It was quick. It was relative. I say pink. Gene Stealer purple. It looks pink to me, but it says purple on the bottle. Yeah, that's really quick. It's just getting the Ceres purple base down. It's like, oh my goodness. And then you're looking at models and you realise you missed certain parts. But I thought that would be a bit boring. It wouldn't be quite fun just watching me slowly paint 2, maybe 3 models over a stream. But this guy, I left it out so we can actually see what I mean with doing the Gene Stealer purple. Oh goodness. But yeah, already looking a lot better than before. But what I want to do is get the Gene Stealer purple on this guy. Then I'm going to get some Ushabti bone and go over all of the
Tyranids eater.
No, don't eat me! Don't eat me! I'm not a banana! No! No! I do really need to get around to finishing basing the giant enemy crab. Hopefully the weather holds up tomorrow. Ooh, are you going to be basing it with like a spray? Oh, you mean basing like full undercoating? Yeah. Hello, Dr. Smilex. You're not even that late, to be honest. The stream started like 8 minutes ago. So, yeah, there's more egregious things, like, with it being organic and Tyranids and stuff, I don't really mind too much of, getting bits of purple on the skin, or getting bits of a skin colour on the chitin. Because, I mean, if you ever looked at a real-life bug, you realise that they don't really have that solid divide of skin colour to the exoskeleton. Instead, the exoskeleton colour kind of leaches into the skin around it, and the skin colour kind of leaches into the chitin as well. Not all the time, but if you look at enough bugs, you realise that goes on quite a bit. So I don't really mind too much, like having some area so it's not too where it is like that. But there are some egregious errors. Like, I know it's on one of these tendrils. One of them. Did I accidentally fix it? No, I've not got my Ushabti bone out. One of these tentacles. I can't even find it now. Maybe it's not that egregious. Oh yeah, there it is. Like that tentacle there on its face. You can see big old purple where I accidentally hit it with a brush. And there's a few zones like that, especially on this guy, where trying to get under his collar was really difficult. Oh yeah, that's one of the reasons I need to use the Shyish purple. Getting under his collar was difficult, so I just used a very heavily watered down Shyish purple and put it onto the edges of the collar so it would leach down and around, so you couldn't see the yellow on the chitin on the collar anymore. Yeet. I shall eat the banana. No, no, don't eat the banana. Guys, I'm still a cupcake. I'm just banana shaped. And don't forget to like the stream if you're not liked already. Gonna fancy up for bases. Yeah, I do for basing last though. Because I like to use these gravel and rocks and stuff. I prefer not to hand paint them because I think it just looks nicer using it naturally. I do have a good tufts of grass and stuff. Yeah, so I'm gonna make it like that. But that's the last step of the process. Yeah, so once you got the shabby bone on, what I'm thinking is I'm gonna get Administratum Grey. Because with this guy, actually, it's not that visible on this guy. If you're wondering how I've got like the shiny varnish look, it's actually just my Just Purple that does that. You look at this guy, you can see like some grey texturing too. Basically, if you just look at his skin, you can always you can see a texture to it. And that's partly the Gene Stealer Purple, but it's partly because it was dry brushed using Administratum Grey. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to dry brush the entire model with Administratum Grey. And then we'll get the Nastreg Yellow contrast on these guys. And then we'll probably... I'm not sure. I'm thinking once we get the Nastreg contrast on, we do a watered down Bad Moon contrast over it. Trying to keep it on for upper surfaces though. And then we'll go with a dry brush of Uriel Yellow over the skin, or highlights of Uriel Yellow and lighter highlights
Time
of
to
Dawn
defeat
Yellow.
and eat a cupcake.
Hello, Tail, and hello, Native Engine. Hello, TA. How are you all doing? Wait, did I say hello to everyone at the beginning? Like Tony, Motivated Dad, Sparky, Anthony from Mongoose. Hello to all of you. You got through 2/3 of it for the first time, then you can run out. Oh yeah. The cans can feel like they're full for ages, and then they just suddenly run out. Or it's like, it goes from feeling full, you do a spray, and then suddenly it feels empty. There's like barely any gap between 100% to 80 to 20% full. It just feels the same, and that last 20% suddenly just feels like it's about to run out. Oh gosh, I still need to finish off my High Fleet Goober Homagons. Oh, I'm still wondering if my Battle of McCrag I really want to do High Fleet Behemoth, or if I'm going to try a different colour. I'm probably going to do High Fleet Behemoth, to be honest. Because I want to paint the McCrag Marines as actual Ultramarines. You know, the colour scheme that they're meant to be. But let's, instead of talking about painting, actually get some painting done. Oh yeah, after the skin's done, I'm gonna do the same blue I did here in all the joints, which, for those who want to know, it's Bahamut blue, or Baharoth blue, sorry, with a little bit of Talsar blue over the top. Highlights again with
Puff
some
word
of
of the
this.
day. Love.
Hello,
Let's share Nurgle's love together. Don't worry, the maggots are harmless. Mostly.
Maggots aren't harmless. No, don't share Nurgle's love. Give it a shake, and it was like, yeah, that'll do it, surely. Spoiler alert, it did not. Yeek. Making me realise I should be painting my spearheads. Yeah, so when I get Dinofo's goblins, I need to do, I'm going to undercut those goblins and my entire, as much of my Tyranids as I can possibly do. I'm going to try and make sure the non-assimilators amongst it. And then I'm probably going to like focus on trying to get the Tyranids painted up. Hello, Empress Right Ball. How are you doing? I've been reading the Dragon Ball manga. I'm at the Frieza arc. The scanlation is bad scanned and arranged from different projects of the manga. Ooh. I think there's Actually, I think what's it called? I don't know if it's still free, but I know that when I was reading the One Punch Man manga using the Fist Media app and the My Hero Academia manga, you could read the Dragon Ball manga, at least much of it, for free. I think it was like the entire Zed saga. But not the original and the Super. Don't know if I still do that. Don't even know if this media app is still around. Or Fifth, whatever it was called. You're doing good. I've just been very busy lately. I hope that's a good busy. There we go. We'll get this done. And we just spray it. We don't spray it, we just... I guess it's a bit heavy of a brushing, but it's fine. As I said, it's just go over. Similar to dry brushing, but you just want more paint thin than you would be dry brushing. So it just flows a little better. When you go over the brush. I know the tip of its tail isn't meant to be chitin, but I thought after doing the rest of these with the tips of the tails being fully chitin, I thought I wanted to do the same with this dude. I'm putting off the Gunpla Death Guard kit for now and painting a neck one. Ooh, which neck one are you painting? Just want something done faster. I can understand that. I'm trying to learn how to paint faster so I can get more of my models done, but I'm a very slow painter. Like, it took me working on these. When did we start painting on them? Like, not every single day I've been working on them, but since we started painting them, I've been pretty much spending at least 1 hour most days just trying to get this base coat done on them for the purple. Denison of Misery, hello! How you doing? Wait, did I say hello to you before? And hello, Bob, how are you doing? My kitty keeps opening drawers and cabinets. Oh, drawers and cabinets. Why did I say oh, drawers and cabinets? Oh, kitties. Yeah, my cats used to do that. One of my cats, like, from years and years ago, she kept getting herself trapped in drawers because she'd open them and then close them behind her and then she'll get stuck. And I was like, oh, you're such a silly kitten. You're such a silly cat. Oh, worse. She'll get into drawers, open them up, and then like my parents will just close them without checking if there's a cat inside. We still do that sort of stuff, to be honest. It's like the cats go into a room, then my parents close the door, and then the cats are just trapped in the room. They're not very good at looking out for the cats. It's not me, I'm not talking about myself. My cat is a real chunky boy. I think I'm painting for Royal Warden. Ooh, I know the Royal Warden, we've got one of him. That's a cool looking model. Not the most unique one. do wish they had a Royal Warden that was by itself though. Although actually you can. If you buy the Kill Team, the Heretic Circle one, I don't know if they're going to keep selling that after it stops being a
Once
Kill
when we
Team.
had just gotten my cat, me and my friend found a spider and then I picked up my cat like a middle and made him attack it.
No! Poor spider! I just picked up a model that looks cool. Yeah. Yeah, if you get the Heretic Circle, I think it's called. There's a model that can be built as basically a plasmancer. That's what most people would use it for. And for other one that can be built, like unique, is a... Well, you got the Technomancer. And you can build most of the models as either Death Marks or Immortals, but one of them can be built as what looks like a Plasmancer, and the other one can be built as what looks like a Royal Warden. Or can at least pass for one, and that's what I see people do. And I kind of like wish we had more of that for, you know, other factions. Like how we still don't have an Apothecary Biologist model or a Judicia, and the Judicia one is really bad. See, most people just use the upgrade spoof and the Black Templar kit for the Judicia. I gotta go now, sadly. Bye-bye. I hope you have a good rest of your day, Dr. Schmilex. Don't forget to drink cola. He's my first and only Necron, so he'll be unique on my desk. Ooh. Wait, how do you get a Royal Warden by itself? Do you get off eBay or something? Ow, ow, ow. Off a friend. I started reading Dragon Ball because I couldn't afford manga and the anime growing up in the 90s. Well, the manga is 80s, but... You know, it didn't get to the West until the 90s. Yeah. The only time I really put any effort into reading the manga was just learning the art style for a manga I was actually having to work on, in which was meant to be a joke. Well, it wasn't really a joke. A character was drawing a manga. And it was basically just like a homage to Dragon Ball. And then it's like, okay, so I need to learn how to draw like Toriyama. I think I did pretty well with that one. Oh my gosh, I've been trying to draw... Oh my gosh, why is there so many loud fireworks outside? I am James Warhammer, and I have sent Pinkerton's geolocation. No! That arm is a bit loose. I would glue it, but I'm currently working on the model. Now just damage my brush even further if I tried gluing it. Don't tell James Workshop, but I 3D printed him. Oh! James Workshop's after you. There's no 3D printing. You'd think we'd ever allow 3D printing talk on this channel. Like, who 3D prints anything? Like, especially things like 3D printed base decorations. Who'd do that? Oh gosh. Howdy, Clemoniac. How you doing? Big love up. I am James Warhammer. Oh. I just torrented Full Metal Alchemist manga. Hopefully it's better quality than the Dragon Ball arrangement. There should be, what's it called, easy ways to get the Dragon Ball manga though. Like, it's blooming everywhere. Oh yeah, I've been trying to draw something lately. For something. And it's been so long since I've done any proper artwork. I'm like, oh my goodness. I mean, it's my mistake for trying to make it proper art, you know, like full colour, more detail, trying to go for semi-realistic, which used to be my art style. It used to be semi-realistic combined with some anime influences and oil painting influences. I've then gained watercolours when I started using watercolours and chalk IRL. And oh my gosh, I'm so bad at it. My artwork is terrible. I don't like it. I mean, it's still for early processes, and I'm like, I have to trust the process. I have to trust the process. I don't trust the process. This is terrible. Go back. Turn back. I fully intend to buy for actual manga when I get better pay and pay off debt. To be honest, I mean, Toriyama's one of the best-selling mangas of all time. I don't think they exactly need your money. That being said, if you go to a lot of subreddits, well, often there's a secret to this. Go on the subreddits, go on the about page, and sometimes they'll have free links to manga there that you don't even need to download any sketchy torrent links or anything like that. For instance, One Punch Man. No, One Punch Man, definitely not. Definitely not. We don't talk about shh. Yeah, that's not true at all. And by the subreddit, it's 4chan. 4chan, that's it. Definitely. To be honest, they don't even care that much about these translations and stuff. A lot of these manga oh, darn, I forgot to get water. Okay, I'll BRB. I need water for my brush. I knew I was forgetting something before. And did I say hello, Night Parade? Hello if I didn't loose link simp ships or something. Yick! Not that one. Wrong one. BRB. I'll be right back. Cuptle is chunk. She abandoned us. No. No one got abandoned. Don't worry about it. Everything's fine. Don't forget to like the stream. But yeah. What I like about this is like it's a very quick process of just adding all that pink to it, but it gives the model a lot more feel. And it's just so cathartic doing that pink process after doing all the basing. Because the basing of the purple took hours. Oh my goodness. Like I think it was probably like an hour and a half for each model, maybe more. Okay, so this wing is really loose at the moment. I'll get some glue on it now. Big Cuptle. Big Cuptle. Cuptle be chunk. Chonkalicious, as they say. Do they say chonkalicious? I just made that up. I imagine they probably do. And by they, I corporate overlord. Sorry, I'm still got sore throats. Why is it when I put glue on, it just immediately breaks it? Like it was loose, but it wasn't yet broken. And it's because what the glue does, it melts it. And if there's just a tiny little bit of plastic holding it together, it's just going to melt the plastic and melt the bond that was already there. I just want to avoid our brush going on where the glue is at the moment. But the next step in the process is, again, it's a little time consuming, not as time consuming. But we're basically just going to look for all of the areas where there's purple where it shouldn't be. Oh gosh, this is a push fit model, so it actually did break the push fit pin because I can see the pin in there.
Currently doing a playthrough of Skyrim with my favorite silly build. Female Orc, Conjuration Battle Mage. Bound Weapon Supremacy.
I never really used bound weapons that much. I always just found them inconvenient. You know, that they last 60 seconds and they use up a bunch of your magic, and then when you want to switch to a different weapon, it just goes away. Hello, Sarah Dwayne, how you doing? On a go, do the fun part like highlighting. The base colour's the worst part. That's one of the things that make Necrons really cool. Is that once you paint Necrons, like do the undercoat, as long as you just choose an undercoat that's close to what you want it to be finished at, all you have is just dry brushing and just the quick stuff like contrast paints and stuff like that, or shades. You don't need to spend the effort painting each and every single one. Unless you want to paint all the wires different colours, but I don't really think that looks good on the Necrons. Like all the wires coming from their guts being different colours. Okay, yeah, this does not want to glue properly. Good, it's finally winter in Colorado. Ooh. So we're doing 5,000 and you actually got your money. Nice. Okay, is that actually working? Let's look. Maybe. Maybe. Hopefully that holds. Yeah, I think I want to use a different brush for this. I want to use a thinner brush, so that I don't have to correct my corrections as much. Because that's one of the issues when you're doing like correction work, is sometimes you might like, your hand might jump. Unfortunately, I got paint on my good brush, like in the metal bit, so it's not as good as it used to be. Okay, this is a good one. That's what I want. 000 Winsor and Newton. And I don't have the shabby bone. I tried to do some oil wash for the first time last week. I didn't know it smelled like grass. It smelled like grass. Yeah. And I guess kind of it does. Depends on your grass. At least the ones I use. There we go. I just know oil washes taste terrible. Yeah, we're doing a shabby bone. It's not the same colour as sandy rust, but it's close enough. I don't really care. So I'm the kind of person that when I'm painting, when my brush isn't in a point anymore, I just put it in the corner of my mouth and go nom 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 to make it a point again. And when I'm doing washes, I know that I don't need to do that and shouldn't do that, but it's just such an instinctual habit that I do that. Hello, Nano Fate. I hope you're doing well. I don't eat my oil washes. She refuses to learn from the Radium Girls. Look, there's nothing to learn from the Radium Girls other than... I'm back. Radium tasty. It's tasty stuff. Eat it all up. I mean, these paints are safe to eat and so on. So, I don't actually feel too bad about it. Actually, this guy looks pretty good for when it comes to... Oh, his fingers aren't too good. Let's get his fingers done here. About on the other side? No, his fingers are fine on the other side. Fingers are fine there. That's all fine. That's good. Let's get this on his hip. Okay, once again, the hip just needs a little bit of work here. Again, I'm not going to be trying too hard to cover them all up. It's fine. Oh no. Where's my other brush? It's not safe if your bloodline is weak. Thankfully, I'm a cupcake. I don't have to worry about blood and stuff. There we go. Yeah, anything here? Oh, a little bit on the arm. A little bit here too. A little bit there. Fine. Yeah, it's fine. Acrylic is technically safe to eat, but oil, paint thinner. Yeah. Look, it's fine. It's fine. There's nothing ever happened with me. What are you on about? You're truly a witch and melt in water. This is why we know. No, I don't melt in water. I have baths and showers regularly. And they're filled with bubbles. Filled with bubbles. And shiny, glowy rocks. Me turning invisible after drinking purple paint. No evidence. Can you see any stink lines coming off me? Any stink lines at all? No, because I'm not stinky. Oh. Rah. I'm not a medieval Christian. If you don't get the joke, it's because medieval Christians used to believe that cleanliness was next to devilness. And this is why there's like a lot of accounts of them stinking by, you know, other groups. And you've got the entire idea for unwashed masses. Well, actually, it depends. For a short while, certain Christian groups have thought that mostly those Christian groups that also went on crusades. It's really funny how that entire script flipped over. And cleanliness became next to godliness. Oh, you're a cat. I forgot. I'm not a cat! When the smell is so pungent, it begins warping the camera lens. Look, there's no camera lens being warped. How are we doing? Are we hitting Conjuror with a Mochi hammer? No! Don't hit me with a hammer. I won't turn into a cat. We've been getting some good painting done today. We're doing the nice Ushabti bone, just correcting errors that I made in other painting. You know, just all the areas where I've got a bit too much purple where it's not meant to be purple. Really, I should be going for something that's, even if it's not the same colour, it's of a similar shade in terms of like how dark or light it is. Because the issue with doing this as bright as I do with this Ushabti bone is it will appear like a highlight, which you don't always want because sometimes it's going to go into darker areas. Sometimes it's hard to tell what's a shadow and what's purple. Darn you, colour theory! So mean to me. I guess that's 2 of them done. I'll put this guy over here. It'll be the last because we're waiting for the glue to dry. If only technology was advanced enough to cleanse Conjuror. You're so mean, and I'm not evil. Why are you calling me evil? No! Spoken by the rat, you know it's dire. Colour theory is my immortal enemy because I don't get it. Colour theory is...
We all thought High Fleet Cupcake was a splinter of Leviathan. Little did we know, it was actually a Gorgon splinter.
A Gorgon splinter. Wait, what do you, No, it wouldn't be High Fleet Gorgon, because Gorgon are the ones that fought for Tau. What was it? I think it's either Kraken or Behemoth that they're actually a splinter of, and Gorgon is just a tendril or splinter of Behemoth. Behemoth. Actually, I don't know how it's meant to be pronounced. Behemoth or Behemoth. I believe originally it was meant to be Behemoth. And now we just say Behemoth. Behemoth. Give me a beer, you darn mouth. Look, I was a classically learned Latin. I'm a classically trained scholar. Gorgon is a toxic one. Is Gorgon the toxic one? I know Gorgon out-toxic the plague dudes a couple of times. but there was another high fleet that was like famous for out-toxicking other factions and using poisons as its main weapon. I thought Gorgon was the one that evolved rapidly. I was wrong about High Fleet Kraken guarding a planet was High Fleet Tiamat. That is guarding a continent-sized Tyranid thing on a world. Okay, so I've been learning more about the Tyranids. High Fleet Behemoth was like the first High Fleet. It attacked into Ultramar and got defeated at the Battle of Macragge. Its forces splintered though, and Gorgon came about and attacked the Tau from there. Gorgon was infamous for massively... I think it was Gorgon. Begins with G anyway. Gorgon. Yes, hello, Tyranids are fun to paint. Yeah, Tyranids are actually quite nice to paint because you don't have to worry too much about being, you know, very exacting on the details because they're organic. I was simultaneously reading Dragoball while I watched your stream and an ad failed to load up though, and I remembered the stream. Yeah, I get that as well. What is your favourite faction to paint? So far, I've only really painted Dark Eldar, Tyranids, Guardsmen. Although it was for old Guardsmen, not for modern Guardsmen. Orcs and Black Templar. Guardsmen were the worst ones because your painting faces was annoying. Orcs are really fun to paint. They can get very tiresome when trying to paint big hordes of them though, because they've got so much going on in every single model with, you know, all the different scrap and stuff. A lot of people just paint the models for just one solid colour with just some highlighting and maybe rivet painting. I did order some Sharpies to hopefully get some detail painting done better. Black Templar are pretty fun, but the fact that they mostly use whites and blacks is annoying because you can't just undercoat them in black because then you have to do the whites, and you can't undercoat them in white because then you have to do the blacks. And then as soon as you make an issue, it's very obvious, and then you have to correct it, and white paint struggles to cover up the black, and the black struggles to cover... Actually, it doesn't struggle to cover up the white, but... It gets very difficult to paint from sometimes. Especially with all the crosses. The Maltese cross is not fun, and the shoulder trim. Tyranids are really nice to paint though, because there's not too much going on with them. And the mistakes don't matter as much since they're an organic creature. So as a result, they're quite nice to paint. But not the most fun to paint though, because they're kind of all, you know, samey. Gorgon is all about biowarfare. They rapidly develop toxins, and the microbial Tyranids are the most aggressive. Even after defeating Gorgon, the planet can be turned to sludge as they rot it. Oh, I know Gorgon was the one that adapted the fastest, so like it adapted quickly to Tau tactics and to Guardsman tactics. And it eventually got beaten when the Guardsman and Tau fought together to fight Gorgon. And because they were using them like very mixed tactics that changed were drastically different from one another, Gorgon couldn't adapt quickly enough to fight both of them at once and ultimately end up suffering a massive defeat. And then the Town Guardsmen started killing one another almost immediately again. Gorgon also was an existential threat to the Tau and almost wiped them out. I say almost. It wasn't far off, and it took them like well over potentially hundreds of years to fix the issues. Like they lost multiple planets. Entire forces were lost. Forces that did survive suffered such massive casualties where it took them years and years, like over 100 years, to bring back the forces to full strength again. And at the beginning of Gorgon, you had the crusade from, well, was it for Gorgon or was it Behemoth that came along and stopped the crusade against the Tau? Can use a grey undercoat for black and white models. Yeah, that's what I'm doing at the moment for my... I need to experiment with them, but I've not had a chance to paint for Black Templars that I undercoated in Mechanicus Grey. I went with this, and I'm planning to do a dry brush of Wraithbone White over them. And then once that's done, I'm going to get the Black Templar contrast paints on all of the areas that are meant to be black. Very carefully try to do it and not get to over tabards and stuff. And then see how I can get these things painted up. See if just Apothecary White over this grey will actually make something nice looking. Very unlikely, but you know. If you're wondering what the helmet's from, it's the Saturnine Terminator helmet. What would be your wish with Earth Dragon Balls or ones with Shenlong? It'll be a very specific wish for an immortality that is going to mean I regenerate fully from death and I don't age. After that, I don't care. Like, after that, to be like, okay, I can just, like, use the Dragon Balls again to, like, you know, do other stuff, like fix my health conditions. And then I can use them again to, you know, like, learn key control. And to improve my potential. But if we're going by the real world... Like, I definitely want immortality on them. Not even for anything bad, just as like, knowing my luck, if I end up like fixing my health conditions, the next day something bad would happen. It's like, you know what, I'm just gonna keep myself alive so I can benefit from this. Tau is at risk of extinction every other week. I mean, not really. The only two real big extinction events that they really had in terms of almost being wiped out was the Demaculus Gulf Crusade, which was going very badly for the town. They did get a few cool victories in, and gave a few really good stand-up defeats. So it was like a Pyrrhic victory of the Imperials. But they were at risk of being destroyed by it. The only other time was Gargan. And at the time, they were still having to fight against the aggressive Imperials. Mostly, it's like the Guardian that helped the town at the end against Gargan were meant to be part of the original crusade. They just turned up late for it. They didn't realise. Started fighting for Tau when the Tyranids turned up on the planet, and they both, you know, stopped what they're doing to fight the Tyranids together. Otherwise, they don't really get, you know... The Tau are never very focused. I think the other closest time was during the Plague Wars, because that was right on the Tau borders, but that wasn't really the Tau being at threat, because the Plague Wars were focused against the Ultramarines. Similarly, the Tau weren't too far away from the Pariah Nexus stuff. Well, that's because everything happens in the Ultramar sector recently, other than what happens in around Baal and stuff. But they, like, Chaos doesn't really care for them, so it doesn't really focus too much attention against them. The Tyranids also don't really see the Tau as a major threat to them. And the Eldar and Necrons don't really see them much at all. So it's very rare that they ever, like, have something happen. I keep hearing how the Tau are so smart. from Tau fans then go quiet when I tell them about the time Volunteer let the Gene Stealer cult establish itself on the planet. The Imperium also did that multiple times. To be fair to the Tau, they were trying to study the Gene Stealers, and they did get a lot of good information from it. The Tau risk every time you wake up. Tau is still alive, and that's a W in my book. Yeah. For what they fought Kraken twice, but this was more just like a tendrils of Kraken that just kind of went close to Tau space. One of them was when they were fighting the Imperium, and this is with Cain, Caithius Cain. And it was mostly the Imperium that defeated the tendril, but the Tau definitely helped. Basically, once again put aside the hostilities and both fought against Kraken. Thankfully, Kraken was fighting a bit against itself, like, you know, two splinter feats were, you know, getting a bit upset at one another. The other time was with Farsight, in which Farsight Enclave just defeated the tendril of Kraken that went near them by themselves. I think the Eldar are the ones who really got the big victories against Kraken. One of the biggest victories against Kraken is once it had been defeated, some of the fleets from Kraken tried to converge back with Leviathan and like spread all the information that it had gained and all the evolutionary traits to High Fleet Leviathan, but the Eldar prevented that happening. Kraken also attacked a number of craft worlds, and across most of them got absolutely stomped, although one of them, you know, got really badly damaged. I think, was it Kraken that did the entire Zoanthrope that ate the entire craft world spirit matrix? Laughs in Iodon. Yeah, that's the thing, is the Eldar suffered probably the most from Kraken. But I say probably the most. The Imperium lost a number of worlds to Kraken. Although apparently they regained a bunch of worlds from what I read. Like there was a bunch of orders given to reclaim the worlds. Similar to what the 500 Worlds campaign is meant to be doing, where a lot of it is reclaiming Exterminatus worlds and worlds that were eaten by the Tyranids. And after Baal, apparently there was a big order to reclaim those worlds too. But yeah, the Eldar were the ones that probably suffered the biggest with the fact that, you know, Iodon and other craft worlds. But at the same time, it's like, those big... I think Iodon still won, didn't they? Like, they suffered a lot, but they did defeat the Tendril in the end, and it was quite a big part of the Kraken fleet. And then at a number of... They were also the ones who were hunting down the Tyranids at every... you know, the Kraken high fleets at every single turn. The Imperium managed to make the Tyranids flee. And it's like, okay, what happened to those fleets? Eldar hunted them all down. Like, I think it's fair to say that if the Imperium are mostly responsible for defeating Behemoth, and the Tau are mostly responsible for defeating Gorgon, then the Eldar are mostly responsible for defeating Kraken. The Tau, the Necrons also, I think it was Anker the Traveller or something like that, who saved one Tau planet from the Tyranids, and that was Gorgon. I think it was Gorgon. And then he wiped out the Tau there. One of the dynasties that was loyal to the Silent King saved the Tau. That's probably from Leviathan, but I don't know which fleet it was. I'm just guessing it was Leviathan. And it seems the one who's doing the most actually against
Winning
Leviathan
is subjective when the dead now outnumber the living and the hull of you craft world is warped from the damage and psychic anguish.
You know who really suffers for Ultramarines? They're starving. Yeah, they ate all the squads once. Hello, yes. Wait, did I want to say hello to you? Who knew the wholeness is for starving? the Tyranids and they see cupcakes. No, don't eat the cupcakes. They're friends, not the Tyranids wouldn't ever dare hurt cupcakes. They know friends when they see them. Oh, that's what I meant to do. I meant to fix this issue. Winning subjective when the dead now outnumber the living and the whole of the craft world is warped and damaged and psychic anguish. So the thing is that most of the death blows and damage to Kraken ultimately came from the Eldar. It's a bit like saying that the Space Marines, Ultramarines, didn't defeat Behemoth and the Imperium when, you know, Macragge was besieged, much of it was eaten, and a whole load of the most important agri-worlds were either exterminated or devoured. And then even the Splinter Fleets and Behemoth are still hunting down Ultramarines today, and ate a number of Imperial worlds, so many such so that they created a new High Fleet, and that was Gorgon. I mean, technically they still won. Iden is one of the... Is that one that uses a lot of Wraithbone constructs in battle due to the losses of population? Yay! There's also that horrible song for Doom of Malantine. I don't know which High Fleet that belonged to. I think it might be Kraken. Because it's from the era when Kraken was the big one. But I might be wrong with that. I say the big one. Leviathan's pretty much always been the big one, but... it's where it's like the most important one who's having the most impact on the lore. That used to be Behemoth, and then it was Gorgon, and then it was Kraken. Kraken is the red one with the bone skin. Gorgon, I can't remember Gorgon's colour scheme. Green. And then Behemoth's got the black and red. Leviathan is the white and purple. The Battle of Iron did break the largest tendril of Kraken, but Kraken also had the most tendrils. Yeah, you also have to remember is that after Kraken, I just remember Doom of Malantine not only ate Biomass, it also ate the Elder Souls. Yep. Is this your paint scheme? Oh yeah, my paint scheme is this colour. It's High Fleet Cupcon. It's yellow and purple like my old model. Oh, blue's red just because I like blue. That's the colour scheme I'm going for. But yeah, Kraken had the most tendrils, but Kraken was... I think after the loss of Iodon, the Eldar basically got very, very angry at the Tyranids and decided to just absolutely slaughter. The High Fleet Kraken. So they hunted down most of the tendrils. I don't think much of Kraken even remains anymore. And the attempts it had to try and like reconnect to Leviathan have all been thwarted by the Eldar. So it's not just at Iodon where the Eldar won. The Eldar won in a lot of places. Oh, it's not just Iodon that's a big thing with the Eldar. They broke the largest tendril and then they hunted down as much as they could. Close enough. Close enough. Yeet. Can't paint yellow for the life of me. If you want to know how this yellow was painted, it took a lot of experimentation. I can actually show you some of my old attempts at it. this was my very first attempt at getting like a nice, trying to do a yellow colour. It was one of my first painted models coming back into painting. And as you can see, the yellow is kind of just too sickly. I wanted to get a kind of pale layer yellow, but I struggled really badly with it. Then I tried experimenting using... So that was mostly just using Dawn Yellow. Then I experimented using this guy. And I was using a mixture of Dawn and Uriel Yellow to get this. And it wasn't that good. But then I eventually got to this experimentation, which I used Nastreg Yellow, followed by Uriel Yellow, and highlights of Dawn Yellow, and then a bit more Nastreg Yellow and a bit more of this to just finally get this nice thing. I also used a bit of very watered down aggressive shade, but not too much to not discolour it. And
struggled painting the yellow as much as she struggled saying it. Red lorry, yellow lorry, red lorry, yellow lorry.
Red lorry, yellow lorry, red lorry, yellow lorry, red lorry, words, words. But yeah, this was paint. Oh yeah, with this guy, I undercoated him in Chaos Black. So I went over with Mornfang Brown to rebase the skin. This is actually my first experiment with trying to do the yellows and stuff over instead Sandry Dust. Yeah, I hope Black Friday was rowdy, but no laws were broken. Oh, we don't really have Black Friday in Britain. We don't have Thanksgiving either, but we do have Black Friday sales, but they last like a week beforehand and a week after. And sometimes you can get good offers in them, but most of the time not. I did find like something that I wanted to buy anyway, but I was waiting to get more money in, was 20% off. So I'm like, okay, I'm just going to eat into money that I shouldn't be spending. Oh, God. But that's just for a carry case. Because I need another one. One for each army. Well, not quite that bad, but not honestly that far off. But yeah, I did try painting some yellow for Bad Moon Yellow and using this over Sandry Dust with this, and it just took a few layers of going over with Bad Moon and then Uriel, then Bad Moon again, then Uriel, just to get the yellow correct. Bad Moon is a very nice way to start getting yellow colour down, but because it is quite thin, Uriel Yellow really helps get the coat. Also, just like the look of Uriel Yellow better. This is a bit too bright. What's your faction then? Don't really have a favourite one. It used to be Dark Elder when I was a kid. Now it's mostly just because they had female characters. But at the moment, I got 40,000 points of Black Templar on building. I do like the Black Templar. But it's hard to know. I like different factions of different regions. Like, I like most of the factions. For one reason or another. Okay. Not much on this guy that I feel I need to paint. Ignore the 86 bajillion. Yeah, the Black Templar is just because... Oh no. I do find the Black Templars kind of fun. Like, the main thing that attracted me to Black Templars originally was the Holy Grenade of Antioch, and then just reading all of his stuff that just felt like Monty Python references. Like the fact that they all got Feel No Pain 6+ at one point. Like the entire army, and that's just like, you know, the Black Knight from the Holy Grail. Did I miss here 40,000 points? Yeah, 40,000 points. That's what it's basically becoming now. Slowly building our way there. There's 129 Terminators. I spent all of my money, way too much money, buying 102 extra Terminators thanks to the Terminator's crux. That just put a silly idea in my head. I'm like, is this a good idea? Answer, no. Am I going to do it anyway? Answer, yes. Cupcake has like, oh yeah, no, 102 is just for building project. I already had 27 built before then. Jane Black Templar here. Yeet, she is a Black Templar. No, I'm gonna go get them built, and then I'm just gonna like message Games Workshop. It's like, hey, you want to see a massive army of Black Templars? I think they let my cat out again. By accident. Oh, they're very good at just letting her run out the house. They even closed the doors and stuff so she wouldn't be able to get out when they came in. Okay, oh yeah, definitely need to get some messes around his head done. But yeah, I also have, what is it, 8,000 points of guardsmen I'm building. Although I'm just dreading building them because the Krieg heads are so hard to convert into something else. The 4,000 points of Night Lords and other, well, Night Lord cultist army. So it's full of like Nurgle, Slanesh and Siege stuff. 4,000 points of Tyranids, and there's a lot of Tyranids, oh my goodness. And it's only 4,000 points. It feels insane. Okay, I think that's like... Oh no, there's a big old lodge here of purple that definitely wants to be corrected. I'm impressed. I want to start Night Lords. Night Lords are cool. Wait, because I've been collecting the Combat Patrol magazine and it had Chaos Space Marines in, and I was like, I don't know what I want to do for Chaos Space Marines. Like, I wanted to do Night Lords, but I also wanted to do Slanesh and Siege and Nurgle and everything, and then I'm like, you know what? Night Lord army that just so happens to have like fully been corrupted by chaos. That's work. Also, if this isn't closing properly, so I'm gonna have to just get... Where's my file that I mostly just use to fix paint pots now? When I get this back here and just start trying to lift up all of the dried in paint. go, it's coming up. Oh gosh, this is not too crumbly. I never played tabletop yet, but I did start the new Pearl's Core book. It's really good so far. I'm still only one chapter into the new book. Wanted to read it last night, but ended up playing Rimworld way too long. Okay, hopefully that lifted up enough. Not really. Trying to get all of this paint that's in the bottom. So hopefully it will close properly now. Nope. If a tabletop wasn't so expensive, you'd totally play it. Yeah, the tabletop is very expensive. I think 40k Templars are just all the Black Templars in the galaxy now. No, Black Templars. So 40,000 points of Black Templars is actually roughly 1,000 Marines. But the Black Templars have at least 6,000 Marines in active service. And that's not including neophytes. And it's potentially a lot more than that because they don't care about the Codex Astartes. If I'm thinking about making my Black Templars their own codex, not codex, their own chapter. That like originally were Black Templars, but then an Inquisitor effectively told them to, because there are just too many of them, like forced them to form into a new chapter. Oh gosh, we're getting a good chunk of this dried up paint lifted up now. There we go. Just really stuck in there. Gosh. That was a big old chunk. But it's out now and the pot closes properly. And my hands are just a mess of paint. There we go. I really like homebrew chapters. Black Templars are not part of your knowledge. Yeet. Oh, you're getting some World Eaters this Christmas, and I'm excited. Oh, it's a High Crafter Knight and Mr. Pockety. I don't think I said hello to you. Mr. Pockety did have big hearts to you all. Yeah, World Eaters are cool. I've got so currently
Black
8
Templars,
Warmongers.
you must become a new chapter for you are too numerous. Pick a new name. They came up with the name Knights Noir.
But no, actually, that could be a fun name. I was looking at the different stuff, and So Knights Hospitaller are already a chapter that's similar to the Black Templars in many ways, and they actually do have the... If you don't know, the Knights Hospitaller in real life were guys who actually used the Maltese cross that the Black Templar cross is, or the Black Templar inspired by the Knights Templar. But I was thinking about what was the order I wanted to do for them? Oh yeah, for Forgotten Martyrs. Like Order of the Forgotten Martyr chapter would be fun, or something like that. Maybe be getting a Dreadnought too. Ooh, Dreadnoughts are cool. Although the little hell boot is so small now. Are you painting your fingers too? I wasn't intending to paint my fingies, but you know, they got painted. It's just that these parts, they get loads of paint stuck into the back, and then they can't close properly, and then the entire pot dries up. It's not fun, especially these things, Unsung Martyrs. Something like that. Although I don't want to call them the Unsung Martyrs, because it's not the chapter that's the Unsung Martyr. It's like what they're crusading for. Oh yeah, Crusaders of the Unsung Martyr. That could be good. So it's not that they are the martyrs, it's that they're not the unsung martyrs, it's that they're doing the crusades in the name of these martyrs that have been forgotten to history. Because that also is very fitting with how my Black Templars act and behave. Where they are a lot more compassionate than what you'd usually expect Black Templar to be. Okay, so now we want to do... I also got, while I was doing this, I got Doomfire Magenta, which was meant to be a pink colour, but it doesn't look that pink to me. I wanted a hot pink. Maybe once it's actually painted on, it will look a lot more hot pink. But what we're going to try now is a Nastrag yellow over this sandy dust and see how it looks. Sounds more Sisters than Templars. It does. I mean, Sisters and Templars are very similar in a lot of ways, so... I'm pretty new, so probably not going to paint it for a while. Yeah, painting is very difficult. I don't advise trying to paint your centerpiece models as one of your first models. Like, try to just paint some of your basic infantry first. Because unfortunately, that's what I did when I came back in. I decided, you know what? I've made this cool model. I'm going to try painting him as my first model coming back. Not painted in years. Surely this will be fine. It wasn't. It looks okay. It's just not great. Like, worse than my other models that I painted afterwards. Just feels weird having like this big character. The fingers will just collateral damage, it's true. This is why we wear gloves. Bonk. My biggest worry of getting into the tabletop is spending on models and painting it, and it looks awful. So if that's your fear, what I advise is getting like some cheap models. Like non-Warhammer, just cheap models to paint with. And practice painting on. Or even like get some army figure, toy figures or whatever. Just something where it's quite cheap. And it doesn't really matter that your painting will be bad. I just learned to paint on them. Either that or buy they sell these starter set painting things that come with models. You can just paint them. It's like, sure, you might not want a Tyranid army, but it's some useful colours. And you can practice on the Tyranid that comes with them. Or you got the Infernus Marines. It's a good way to just practice. And I know some shops and stuff do like these practice sessions where you can use the shop paints and shop models and stuff to just practice with, and you can keep the models. Oh, also, if you go to like the local Warhammer stores, they often have like a mini of a month that you can get for free. So asking them for that is a good idea. First models are Flyrants, second was a T-Rex. Don't listen to her, go in swinging. I mean, it's fine. You can definitely do that. I didn't follow my advice. I just went straight in with like painting the models I got. Okay, yeah. So Nasdrag Yellow, I don't care about water. It's a contrast paint. Watering down and stuff's not that important. Nasdrag Yellow looks very brown. And this is fine because we want a brown undercoat. But if you look where it's settling at the surface, like on the upper bits, it looks more yellow. And that's what we want. We want the brown as where the shadows will be. And then we'll go over again with a Bad Moon Yellow, a bit more watered down though. In an effort to try and make the model good. And thankfully, because it's a contrast paint, it's very wet. It gets into all of the crevices really easily. And because we're painting over what is effectively yellowish colour already, we don't need to be too exacting with it. In addition, it's not going to affect the purples too much if I accidentally get it on for purples. So we can just... Oh no, I'm not meant to do the Nasdrag Yellow yet. I just remembered I've not done my dry brush. I'm a silly belly. Well, we'll leave that model to one side to dry. It doesn't matter. It's organic. Not everything's going to look correct and same everywhere. I have to travel like an hour away for any store like that, sadly. I live in the middle of nowhere. Near the Amish. Oh. Where are we? To be fair, being in Britain, I live relatively close to like various Warhammer stores, but it would still take me like an hour to get there. Well, maybe not for now. Best part of an hour, like 45 minutes sometimes.
Your servings of Coca-Cola, madam.
Coca-Cola. I was literally drinking Coca-Cola when you said that. But what do we need? We need the Administratum Grey. That's what I wanted to do. Do a nice dry brush over it, because the issue with using contrast over just like solid colour is that you won't get the highlights. The dry brush just gives it an automatic highlight to the model. Okay, here we go. Dry brushing brushes. By the way, I really recommend this dry brushing set. It's been really quite good, this Pro Synthetic dry brush. Wasn't like a super expensive set. It's not like, I think this costs less than a single Winsor Newton brush. Okay. Now, despite what they say, dry brushing, you do want a little bit of water just so that your paint will have flow. And equally, you just want to make sure your brushes. There's one Games Workshop store near me. Ooh. Here we go. British traffic. And lack of public transport. Okay, I'm just trying to get like the rake up the bristles, because these brushes are quite hard to clean, so sometimes you'll still have some paint on the bristles that makes it a bit hard. It's just raking up the bristles so they're going to be nice and smooth. There you go. Not this. I don't have a proper dry brushing palette, so... Yeah, That's good. Okay, maybe a little bit too much was still on the brush, but it's fine. Oh gosh, okay, maybe that's not fine. It's like 2 hours away. Oh gosh, 2 hours away is not near. I mean, close enough, I guess, but... Yeah, if you've got like local game stores or whatever, and that's a shop that is not an official Warhammer store but sells Warhammer models, they often do a lot of that stuff nowadays. Like when I was growing up, wasn't many shops like that, or at least none near me. The only places that did stuff like that was Warhammer shops. For Warhammer shops have stopped offering a lot of the services like they used to. Wow, I live there's only one Games Workshop store. And that's the beauty, I guess, of living in Britain. You're never that far away from it. The two realities of being British. You're never that far away from a Greggs. And you're never far away from a Warhammer shop. And that's actually true. Whenever we went on holiday, I would always try finding any shop nearby that would sell Warhammer. Just so I could look at the Warhammer. I see what you mean for dry brushing. It gets into all nooks and crannies. Well, dry brushing is meant to not get into the nooks and crannies. It's meant to be picked up by the raised areas. You don't want it to get too deep into it. It can get into the nooks and crannies if you got too much paint on your brush, but you don't want the paint on your brush. You just want it to get caught on the raised areas. And it's basically just create areas where it's going to be highlighting, it's going to be brighter. Once you put the contrast paints on. Because the contrast paints are very thin, so areas that are darker and light underneath them will make the contrast paint look different on the surface. And that's my main aim with the dry brushing. I want to lightly brush over. Again, we're painting organic things though. Mistakes happen and it just adds to the unique flesh tones and carapace tones of that model. If I get a bit too much grey on it, it's fine. I'm going to be going over with my just purple anyway. It's going to look purple. I can always fix the mistakes after the fact as well. I also just whacked the camera with a brush, I apologise. Like scuffing the model with a brush. It is. This is actually my first experiment with doing this with a skin. I did this for like the carapace of this dude. And you can still see if you look like where it's grey along certain parts. I didn't do the best job with dry brushing their armoured parts because I was mostly just focused on getting the skin done. But with the skin on that one, I didn't really focus on trying to do highlights and stuff. But for one issue, with this guy is that his skin has absolutely no texture to it, or very little texture. I'm trying to give him that texture I'm trying to give these guys the texture that he lacks. Because I don't like that like as much as I like the Heavy Metal team and stuff or Games Workshop and think they do a good job, is that it does make their Tyranids look very plasticky, the official paint schemes. And well, there's two ways of doing textures that I've seen. One of them is used by places like Weta Workshop and the Forge World team. I can't remember, what did we call them? The Special Design Studio. And that's called stippling. So effectively where you do this with like a similar colour tone to for what you want. But so like you paint it the base colour tone where you want, and then you do this just over the model in various parts. Not too heavy, not too light. It's not meant to be a highlight. It's meant to go into all the nooks and crannies and stuff. It's just meant to give that sort of texture to the entire coat of the model. And then you go over and do your thin highlight coats and your shades and stuff so that the stippling and texture is still there. And what I'm doing instead is just dry brushing the model. So it has highlighted parts and unhighlighted. Will give a different effect, but hopefully still give the skin texture. And the only reason I'm doing it with Administratum Grey is because the Administratum Grey is an important part of the purple process. That I might as well just use. Otherwise, I'll probably go for Wraithbone White over the skin areas. But I mean, they're both a very, just a bit off white colour. Okay, that's a lot too much there. That's still too much. Yeah, this is why you want to pop a dry brush palette so you can tell how much is actually on your brush. Oh god. There we go. Well, what planets are Tyranids on? Does it have a name? We're not on a particular planet. The Tyranids are attacking a system, or a couple of systems. Or at least like in my head canon of the lore for them with because the entire lore is all of my armies are effectively fighting one another in the same system. Don't know what the system's called. I've not really thought about the naming of stuff. There we go. Well, they are being hunted down by Eldar. Is your VTuber model Joker inspired? No, no, no. It's so originally I had a cupcake mage thing that was yellow and pink, purpley pink. And when I had a code, people were saying I sounded like a British boss lady because of my voice was all croaky. And someone, a really, really skilled artist called Nico, made a fan art of my model. But as a British boss lady, and it turned out like this. And then I commissioned him to actually make a full model, but he was colorblind and he thought the yellow was green. But I thought it looked cool anyway, so I went with it. The lore is deep. Why does the purple use Administratum Grey? I would like to know, as I'm currently painting violet. Yeah. So, no, there's two reasons. It's the purple is... The Administratum Grey is used on the purple because I just wanted to add a different texture colour to it to give it the look of, you know, being an exoskeleton. It's not the fact that it's part of a purple scheme. It's just the fact that it adds some colour variation into a model. and into the chitin to make it feel more, you know, like growing bone. Like, do you know how your nails are like pink, usually like the one colour at the main part of the nail, but once it gets to the edge and it gets to the dead nail, it all becomes white. That's effectively what I'm trying to go for with this. So, because it's a dry brush, it's going to be mostly picked up by the edges of it. But also, I'm going to go over with Majo's Purple, which is a very thin, contrasty paint. So, it will pick up the dark and lighter parts and will just make the grey look more purple anyway. I want to have the grey still stand out a little bit in the end, but not too much. The cake system, the cupcake system, maybe. I know they're called High Fleet Cupcon, but that's short for like, originally it was meant to be a splinter feat of, I think, Behemoth? Although maybe Kraken. That the Imperium Watch like attack a certain sector, but then it suddenly disappeared in a warp storm. And it got its name Cupcon for like how it's diverted off to attack a specific system. That was, I can't remember what I called the system, but for short they just called the High Fleet Cupcon rather than just naming it the system every single time because it was a long name. The High Fleet's not as particularly large or powerful one. It's just, well, I mean, like any High Fleet, it's going to be enough to destroy an undefended system and to be a serious threat to even a defended one. But it's currently being hunted by a bunch of Eldar Tyranid hunters, Corsairs. So various Eldar, Dark Eldar, Exodite Eldar who have suffered at the hands of the Tyranids. Here we go. So yeah, I do like the dry brushing because it just immediately starts making the model look more, you know, alive, I guess. Cool story to go along with the VTuber model. The green does look nice. It does. I'm going to go back to yellow. I've had the V2 model prepared for ages, although it actually needs some fixing on it. Contrast paints be weird but fun. They are thick paint medium with dense pigments, which means that they paint over something, it pulls over the edges and settles in the grooves. It does multiple steps in one. Yeah. I think it's like multiple different pigments are within it. Like if you look, you can kind of see it. But what happens is, like this guy, his arm. So you get the lighter pigments stay on the surface, but the denser and heavier ones sink in. So it creates like these cool layers. But some of them are a bit weird, like the contrast Majos one is really shiny for some reason when it dries. And as a result, I find it really good for giving this wet look to certain areas like the brain. So I like to put a watered down version into like the cracks and crevices of the blues to give it that little bit of a sheen. You just got your butt beat in Space Marine 2 by 2 Cornifexes. No! Oh my gosh, I struggled with the difficulty system in Space Marine 2. It was such a hard system. The difficulty is so weird. Especially if you're playing by yourself. Because the bots apparently do absolutely no damage or next to no damage against bosses. Like, at one point I managed to hide where a neurophobe couldn't reach me, and I could watch my guys shooting everything they had at the neurophobe for about 20 minutes and its health just wasn't going down. I think it went down a tiny little bit. It's like, oh, that's why I struggle so much with bosses. I'm having to beat them alone. Your bots just don't help. That's just such a terrible system. I don't like it when they do that. I don't know if they've changed that difficulty at the moment. It would be nice if it did. Yeah, I wish you felt more powerful in Space Marine 2. Yeah. I mean, I do feel kind of powerful. Like, most of the time I'm going through, I feel like, yeah, this feels like being a Space Marine. Maybe a bit more powerful than what a Space Marine should feel. But then it's just, a boss comes along and it's like, yeah, this is too much. There you go. I got penned by a lictor and one of the snake guys and got ripped apart by a charge. Ooh, that's not fun. The Ravenous, which are the snake guys, I remember absolutely hating them because they were things that kept getting me killed every single time. It's like I thought I was safe, I was doing well, and suddenly Ravenu appears. Most of my health gone. And they're really good at doing that grab attack on you. And it doesn't matter how quickly you break it, you're going to take an insane amount of damage and just not be able to regen it. It does feel kind of fitting, because I mean, Ravenous are not easy to fight if we go by lore or tabletop. And Lictor should be more than a match for most Space Marines, to be honest. Here again, if we go by lore and tabletop. That being said, we're playing as a guy who used to be a captain and still has like this. I say Titus, we're playing as a guy who used to be a captain, so he should be able to easily defeat most things. And normal dudes, though, not quite so much. It is kind of insane how much they throw at you in some of the missions. So do you feel like a wet paper bag if you don't land all your dodges and parries? Yeah, I guess that's a bit true.
Suddenly, average South London Lamia experience. Getting coiled up and shanked repeatedly.
Yeah. I wish I could have got some Terminator armor and a lightning claw. Actually, that is one of the things about Graphis armor, is you don't really feel that tough in the Graphis armor, to be honest. I wish you did. Like Graphis, like a character in Graphis armor, especially against most of the threats that you play against, it's probably going to do pretty well. Like, even in tabletop, most of these threats aren't going to be doing too well against you at, like, trying to hurt you. Graphis armor is just that tough. Like, Lictor, they get 6 attack. Wait, are Lictor strength 7 or strength 6, I forget. Because if it's strength 7, yeah. They're not going to have too hard a time, to be honest. But if it's strength 6... Can't Primaris wear Yeah, they can. They can. Terminator army should feel pretty strong in. In fact, the new Terminator models are all Primaris models. Raffiners are just South London Laminiers. I have decreed it so. Raffiner waifus must now take talk in an appropriate accent. Oh my gosh. Imagine if Draco from Total War 3 just started speaking like a South Londoner. There we go. Yeah. I've done it. My throat's shutting. I should probably drink something after this. My throat's been bad for ages. I don't know why. I say my throat, I've been bunged up for ages. I was hoping to get like some song stuff done, but I've just not been able to do much. Oh hell. Do you have any Terminator Night Lords? I do! I'll show you two of them. Just let me put these two models away and I get my Terminator Night Lords. There we go. 5 Terminator and 6 Terminator Night Lords. They're all corrupted by Nurgle though. That's the issue with these dudes. The Chaos Lord of a Warband got corrupted by Nurgle and became a sorcerer. So this is him. I've not painted any of my Night Lords at the moment. They're still in just grey hell forever. Atramator. Oh, they stinky. Yeet. So my Night Lords are split into 4 camps. Undivided. Nurgle, who's basically for chosen warriors. Tzeentch and Slaanesh. Or mostly for Slaanesh ones are mostly for cultists. See, it's got like these 3 masks growing out of his back of his head. He's got the Night Lord helmet on. Big old mouth belly. Night Lord lightning claw. Big old scythe. Magical stuff. Bunch of skulls and mushrooms.
As befitting of the grandfather's stinkiest disciple.
Yeah, I'm not the stinkiest disciple. Then you got this Terminator. This is basically just a normal Terminator though. With just Night Lord head on it. Then you've got this dude who's meant to be like... His big size just meant to represent a chain fist. So, yeah. Is the Death Shroud Terminator. Is that using the Night Lord head? I can't remember. I actually think that might be a Death Shroud Terminator head and the other guy had the Night Lord head. Then this guy, Death Shroud converted with Power Fist, Terminator Helm, and Reaper Autocannon.
Average Space Marine 2 experience is getting swarmed by lictors and the sword guy before getting mortality wounded and dying.
Oh, the Atramentus of the Night Lord's Elite Terminators. In the books as well. Oh. Yeah, I don't have them. These guys are meant to just... My warband's meant to be a relatively small Night Lord warband. That wasn't really all that important. So, they did have some Terminator suits, but not a great deal. Yeah, this guy's just basically a normal Terminator. And then the last one is the most Night Lordy one. One of his ears had to be cut off so his head could fit on. But he's got lightning claws, yeah! So, what's that? Not bad. Night Lord's Omnibus. I have not read the Omnibus. Is Montorian hiding as a Night Lord? No! So my Night Lords, other than the Slanesh ones, mostly don't think of themselves as corrupted. They're just using chaos. They are definitely corrupted, but it started with a sorcerer of Sinch. Well, the sorcerer who was meant to be like the guy who helped the ship and, you know, defined stuff of a Night Lord faction warband. Yeah, he had been communing more and more with the Herald of Sinch and gaining more and more power, and a cult was starting to form around him. And the Chaos Lord in charge of the warband was like, I don't really like this. He's going to go after me soon. He's going to challenge my power. But he also didn't want to get rid of the sorcerer because, you know, he's a really important sorcerer of the warband. If they lost the sorcerer, it would be a significant blow to them. So it's like, okay, I'm getting a bit old. It's been a long time since the heresy when I was just a neophyte. And even I'm starting to age at this point. Like, it probably wasn't 10,000 years for him, but he's lived long enough for his Space Marine body to even feel the ravages of age. So he decided to try and open his mind for warp by making a pact with just any demon that would listen, and it was a Herald of Nurgle. And the Herald of Nurgle did open his mind for warp, but also tried to possess him. But the mind of a Night Lord Warlord was just too strong, and he ended up basically overwhelming the Chaos Demon. And, like, instead of his mind being consumed by the demon, he consumed the demon's mind. Which I actually just stole straight up from this follower of Slanesh, who ate demon, like, Lords of Change and stuff until she became a demon prince. She was just a normal woman, and then, yeah. But then he basically took a Nurgling and fed it to each of his, like, most loyal warriors and was like, prove yourself. By eating this Nurgling, if you survive, you'll be stronger than ever. And while he was trying to increase his own power, and the Sinch guy was increasing his own power as well, each of they didn't pay attention to the cultists. Or, you know, for just the people they had around to mostly use as stock for their making new Space Marines. And amongst them, a Slanesh cult had already started to form around this woman. And some of the more recent Space Marines they had made were also, like, falling to Slanesh. Eventually, though, a group of the Night Lords...
You try to possess me, but little do you know I'm an avid Uno player. I cast reverse card, followed by block and +4 in attack mode.
The Nurglings did get munched. It's sad. But then what did they do? Oh yeah, there was a bunch of these Night Lords who were like very upset about how many of the lords or how many of their fellows were falling to chaos, including the war boss himself as a war boss warlord. So they decided to make a pact with some world eaters nearby to effectively try and destroy their fellow Night Lords. And when they failed, they joined in with they basically joined the World Eater Warband and fell to Khorne. But they had hoped to basically make a power grab and defeat the Chaos Lord, thinking that the Sorcerer of Tzeentch and the Slaanesh cultists wouldn't come to his aid. But they did. Despite everything, they supported one another. Still. And then they unified by their hatred of, you know, these the traitors. The warband started hunting down that World Eater warband. And once the combat betrothal of the World Eaters arrives, that's what they're going to be. I'm probably going to mix some Night Lord bits into them as well, if I have any more. But that's the aim. And the little story. A lot of the Night Lord books are some of the best books in 40k. I've heard they're really good. I don't want to read the Conrad ones though. Conrad sucks. He's evil. Okay, that's way too much grey on the back, but it's fine. Love Night Lords. Don't love Conrad. Oh gosh. Okay, is this arm like fine? Yeah, if the arm's solid. Not about Conrad, it's about Talos. Oh. I know one of the Night Lords is a demon prince. I know that there's a couple that fell to Khorne as well. I just like the Night Lord aesthetics. Night Lords look so cool. There you go. Don't forget to like the stream if you've not liked it already. It helps me out. Talos, Follicle, my beloved Yeet. Soul Hunter, Blood Reaver, and Voidstalker in that order. Ooh. Maybe I'll read them after I finished reading Archmagos. Honor Bound. And Leviathan, because I heard Leviathan's a good book. And I was like, you know what, I'm painting Tyranids and stuff. I want to paint my Battle on the Crag, guys. I'm going to read that book. And my shop, my local Warhammer shop, I actually managed to go and visit for once. And it had it in. I also got the Black Templar Codex while I was there, just because. One of the characters in the omnibus, his name escapes me, is actually fallen to Khorne, but he keeps becoming lucid every so often, and he's disgusted at himself. Yeah. I kind of think that my characters sometimes like have a bit of, you know, that, well, as you said, lucid moments where they realise just how corrupted they actually have become. And that maybe they aren't just controlling chaos. I imagine those thoughts are fleeting, and that every time they have them, they actively try to convince themselves, no, that's not true. For the most part, they're like perfectly set, or at least as sane as Night Lords get. But they're not. Like in rages or whatever. The only exception is the Slaaneshi Night Lords, who fell before they even got turned into Space Marines. Just no one was paying enough attention to them. And perhaps more of the Plague Marines as well. But yeah, the reason I ended up doing that is because I know that I didn't want to make an army for each of the Chaos Gods. But I wanted to make some for... I wanted to make Nurgle stuff, I wanted to make Slaanesh stuff, I wanted to make Night Lord stuff, and Tzeentchian stuff. Especially playing Space Marine 2, it made me really want to have a Tzeentch army. And... as a result, I decided to do... It'll be fun to make a corrupted Night Lord one, because that just allows me to do a bit of everything. The law is maybe not that good. Okay, I just broke the wing off again. Whatever, I can just... You know, why paint sub-assembly? You can assemble it, paint it, break it, and build it again. You know, I'm just being more genius than anyone's ever realised. Who needs sub-assembly when you're just too rough with your models? Can't you do chaos? I could do chaos undivided, but then I wouldn't have like I wouldn't have you know, the other chaos stuff in it, like, you know, Slaanesh and Tzeentch and stuff. So instead, I forgot what's it called. I mean, technically they are undivided in a way. But Chaos Undivided usually means that none of the guys within the faction have fallen to any of the Chaos Gods. It's not always the case, like the Black Legion has plenty of things that are fallen to individual Chaos Gods. But the main aim of Chaos Undivided is that they are loyal to all of them equally. Night Lords in general aren't Chaos Undivided though. They're not loyal to any of the Chaos Gods, and in fact they don't want to serve the Chaos Gods. It's just more or less the Night... As far as I'm aware, Night Lord goals just kind of align with Chaos goals sometimes. A lot of the Night Lords are as willing to attack, you know, Chaos forces as they would be Imperial ones. Hello, K&K Motto. How you doing? Which is why I do not like the Pact-Bound Sealers. It's a Word Bearers detachment. I mean, at least Pact-Bound Sealers now has the update where you can add the mark of Chaos Undivided. In which case, it allows you to... What is it? I think it's the weakest of the packs, but it allows you to reroll ones to hit if you've done your Dark Pact. So like Word Bearers would be Chaos Undivided. Yeah, Word Bearers are Chaos Undivided. Word Bearers do have some of their numbers, and they definitely ally with, you know, the different Chaos Gods, or like, you know, warbands that are loyal to different Chaos Gods. But yeah, Undivided isn't great. No expanded crit range. The stratagems are kind of weak. Yeah. My guys are Pact-Bound Zealots, but they are, you know, there's actually 4 armies for them. I'm trying to get like 1,000 points of Nurgle, 1,000 points of Tzeentch, 1,000 points of Slaanesh, and then 1,000 points of Undivided. But undivided ones don't actually represent undivided, if I'm going to be entirely honest with you. They're just more or less... They're still loyal to the warband, but they don't really want to serve any of the Chaos Gods. And are probably more of the numerous ones. And they're the ones who are in charge of maintaining all of the vehicles and stuff, because they're the only ones who are kind of sane enough to make sure that the vehicles are maintained. Okay, so we've got all of the dry brushing done now. Once again, we go to actually getting the Nastreg yellow done. So just make sure this brush is nice and wet. There should be a lot of possessed if it is world bearers, and you should be souping in demons as their quarters. One of the things I do like about detachments now is it doesn't say this guy, this faction has to use this detachment. It's not like the pack-bound zealots aren't called for word bearers, they're called pack-bound zealots. This means if you're playing word bearers, you can just choose to have a completely different detachment if you want to. That's a bit more fitting. I mean, it's like Night Lords. The detachment for the Night Lords is probably one of the worst detachments in the entire game. Oh, it's all about causing battle shock in an army that's not good. That's not revolved around battle shock. Like, Tyranids are good with battle shock, but that's because their army revolves around it. Instead, the Night Lords are much better with the Raider ones and stuff like that. Hello, Astrahef. Greetings of the Infinite Empire. Hope you're doing well, and I wish you a good day. I wish you a good day too. Thanks for popping in. Big hearts to you and everyone else. Iron within, iron without. The Iron... I almost said the Iron Legion. The... Not Iron Hands. Iron Warriors! Yeet! The more they de-restrict and encourage the players to play, the more freely better it is. Yeah, I do like that. The game used to be extremely free, but I think back then, like 5th edition was extremely free without let people do, but it was extremely unbalanced. I want them to add Dark Mechanicum with Fast-Draw. Yeah, it does sound like they might be trying to do something with a Dark Mechanicum at the moment, and maybe with Perturabo coming back, they might do something, but I don't know. Well, Iron Warriors technically are the Iron Legion. Yee. I mean, he's still got the Iron Hands. Okay, so I want... Which brush did I want? Did I want this one? I think I did. And then we'll just get some Nastreg yellow. Just make sure there's... You have to make sure that it's all shaken up properly with these contrast paints, because the pigment really just gets into the bottom. Can't wait for PT Turbo to return. PT Turbo. Honestly, he's probably not my favourite. It's one of my least favourite Primarchs. Conrad Kurz, honestly, as much as I like to just dump on him, he is a very fun Primarch in terms of just how stupid and terrible he is. Oh, and I hope Conrad Kurz never comes back. Like, he's dead, he can stay dead. Night Lords are better off without him. Necromunda and Legions Imperialis are getting new stuff. Yeah, they're really cool. I do wish both Necromunda and Legions Imperialis had more Xeno stuff going on. Like, it used to be, and I think it's still in the lore, that Necromunda had Eldar. Like, Eldar do live in Necromunda and do regular trade with them. Actually, a lot of Imperial planets do actually have Eldar colonies on.
I am vengeance. I am the night. I Am Batman. Attributed to Conrad's.
Dang it, Conrad, you're not supposed to skin people for littering, yeah. Oh. Out of all of the legions that hate their Primarch, and in turn for Primarch hates them, Conrad Kurz and the Night Lords are probably the worst one for it. And I wouldn't have it any other way, to be honest. It's just really fitting for the Night Lords. I do hope if Dawn returns that we get him for the Black Templars, because I think it will be cool for each of the... Oh, what's it called? The Codex supplements to have their own Primarch or Primarch-like thing. And it'd be fun for Dawn to return and no longer be the relatively calm and collected guy he was meant to be famous for. Like, the last thing we knew he was doing, or last few things, he had basically just gone off the deep end. Throwing his legion openly into a trap, knowing that it was a trap. Calling on crusades and stuff like that. Whereas, you know, you've got the Dark Angels. Primarch has, like, really calmed down, Lionel. It'd be really cool if Russ is also a bit more calm, collected, and tolerant. See, we're just doing the Nastrag. We want to get nice shadows with this. ENvtuber is annoying until the Siege of Terror, then he goes full circle to... I do get that he carries this entire thing on his back and stuff like that, but I just can't get over his personality. And stuff. And how he treats this legion. I can understand why people like him, but I'm just not on that side. Yeah, but Dawn needs a hand before he can return. I mean, true. Oh, imagine if he returns and he's just got like a sword. Like where his hand should be, he just decided to attach a sword to it. Peter carrying the whole heresy on his immense shoulders got to feel for him watching the Emperor's children doing an absolute bender and accomplishing very little. One of my favourite scenes is when Fulgrim is fighting Dawn and the Emperor's children are trying to get through and Dawn's like, you know, you could have easily won. If you just controlled yourself, your legions fought, for a second, like they used to before you got corrupted. You could not only win this fight against me, but your legions could have easily crushed our defense. Or maybe not easily, but you know, they could have eventually crushed the defense, but instead you got weakened by chaos. I do like that. I do like the idea of Fulgrim and the Emperor's children being worse after corruption. I thought that is true for most of the legions. Like the World Eaters. The World Eaters weren't that good before corruption, mind you. As far as like being the most reliable legions go. But the Emperor's children were one of the very best legions before getting corrupted. Like, arguably. The best, and Fulgrim was arguably one of the best Primarchs before being corrupted. Very similar to Sanguinius in a lot of ways. Yeah, painting with contrast paints is just so much nicer than like trying to base with normal layer paints or base paints. Painting my 3 Canoptic Doomstalkers, hoping the Canoptic Court detachment doesn't get nuked in 11th. Ooh, Yeah, my neck ones are all the canoptic ones as well. We're just building the canoptic circle guys yesterday. And I've got one Doomstalker, and I'm hoping in my final like full army I'll have at least 2 of them. I love the canoptic stuff. I don't think the canoptic circle will get nerfed because it's not super powerful. It's very difficult to play with, like for just your average player to pick up, or new player, comparative to some of the other detachments. And it relies heavily on canoptic units, which until the Tomb Crawlers came out, there weren't that many units that could have the canoptic keyword. Tomb Crawlers now allow Immortals and Warriors to have the canoptic keyword, and that's amazing. Well, it's like the Doomstalker, as much as I love the Doomstalker, it kind of sucks in terms of like comparing it to like in terms of stats, it's much weaker than like the Doomsday Arc and other equivalents. I absolutely love the Doomstalker. And if a canoptic cart, it's definitely worth taking it over the Doomsday Arc. But that's only because the canoptic cart detachment is moderately powerful for it. I definitely don't think
Alpha Legion was always loyal. Hydra Dominatus brothers.
Emperor's children were so good at their jobs, Emps personally allowed him to fly his symbol, the eagle. Unfortunately, this irreparably damaged their egos. Yeah! 12th arguably got better after Chaos. Which one's the 12th Legion, sorry? My 5th Primarch that is loyal is Chagatai Khan, but if Alpha Legion does end up loyal, then it's... I think the Alpha Legion is... It used to be canonically, they were half loyal, half traitor. And that was one of the things that confused them. Not everyone was sure who was Chaos and who was traitor. Dawn is probably my favourite loyal Primarch. But that's just because Templars. I like Sanguinius. Sanguinius is a cool guy. What's his name? Ferrus Manus is cool. We just don't see enough of him, and he doesn't have enough of his own personality. Gulliman has grown on me a lot. I used to not really care for him, but he has really... I mean, he's had a few cool books and lots of cool moments, and especially with Dark Imperium. Not like anyone ever saw that coming, but being held to that level of standard is going to warp you, I guess so. Highly amused at Macrosite's ability, being called the Harassment Swarm. Yeah, they're so big, the models are like that big and they're meant to be the Harassment Swarm. It's like, you're bigger than a Space Marine, dude. You're not a swarm. You got 5 models in your unit. Oh... The 12th Legion is the one after 11th. Alpha Legion was always loyal. Hydra Dominatus. Daddy Longlegs is highly specialised. The DDA is more general purpose. Yeah. It doesn't... I mean, it is... Yeah. It's relatively good because it can have the 2 different ways of firing it, isn't it? I think the other things that makes it a bit worse is that it's so tall, it can always be seen, and there's very little obstructions it can fully hide behind, or properly hide behind. It depends. 10th edition rules kind of confuses me sometimes with terrain and visibility. I think that's just because I'm too old edition minded. how this ability works. Trophies World Eaters. Yeah, World Eaters might have gotten better after Chaos. Manus is a jerk in all the good ways. He is a hammer fist, doesn't make us friends, but I'm worried about you, don't break it. That is true. He's just a tsundere. Ferris Manus is just a big old tsundere who ended up hating what his legion would become. Oh, it's so sad. Vulcan's a cool character. I sometimes question what we're even trying to do with him. Pilgrim might be my favourite Primarch, just because of his fall. Like, when he compared to how he was before the fall and then after, and it's just like... It's such an interesting and kind of sorrowful read. Definitely got one of the more interesting arcs, at least. Yeah, we're making them look like fried chicken now. Mr. OG Pokemon Master Tryson for Infinite a playable model? Yes, he is. His model's a bit old now, but he is a playable model. There have been some questions about him getting a new model soon. But it was possible hints that he might be. But he's definitely one of the favourite Necrons, so I wouldn't be surprised if he finally got a new model. And if it was something more Silent King level. As one of the coolest and most powerful Necron Lord, he definitely deserves it. I thought he does have a model. I swear I saw one of his models. Or was it only like a temporary back library release of a model? Oh gosh, wait a minute. Yeah, he is. Can you? Oh no, you can't. Sorry, I misread the he is and then the other one. Sorry. The rules are subjective. 40k trying to become competitive was a mistake on the part of GW because 40k was... You tell that to the people I used to play with. They were not fun at times. Never meant to be competitive. Necrons are my fast faction overall, so when I do get into tabletop, I'll probably build them first. Necrons are a really good starter to get into because they're probably one of the easier ones to paint. And it doesn't matter too much, as much if you mess up with them. With the Doomstalker's range, they shouldn't really be hidden. They're a far-away problem covered by everything else in personal list. That is true as well. You were 4 when it was released? Oh my gosh. I knew the Tryson model was old, but I wasn't sure how old it was. I just know that when you look at it, you can clearly see it's an older model. I do like that Necrons have got more personality now and aren't just evil bad guys. I like that. I call my army, you may be heavily armed, but we are heavily legged. Oh my gosh, that is true. And especially if we go after the Canoptic Spiders. We're definitely poking Necrons a lot in Kill Team. I'm eager for the Sisters Chaos Jewel set. I was thinking about getting that, waiting to get that. instead of just getting the current Raptors, but I decided just to get the current Raptors. I was hyped for Silent King Return, and that book was so good. The Silent King model is also ridiculous. He has a model that was released in 2011. Oh my goodness. His model's older than most people. Does every faction have a kill team equivalent, or is someone missing? I think every single faction currently has a dedicated kill team kit. For a long time for Tyranids, the only kill teams were not proper kill teams. Where it's not like a set box that was kill team. Instead, it's just like you can use these models in a... They were like rules, but not a dedicated set of them. Now you've got the Raffiners, who are dedicated kill team set currently. I started in 5th/6th, and the stud counters Grogs was so bad I bounced away. Came back in 10th, and everyone is... Yeah, that's what I had. I started in 5th. Technically in 4th, because I got the Battle of McCrag. Because I saw an old white dwarf with it. For 5th is where I probably did the most. 5th and 6th was where I did the most playing with. And at first it was kind of fun, but then it was just too many people got really into... It's like games would last hours because people would be arguing over what counts as being in cover and what doesn't. And I do like the new simplified rules of that, because it does get rid of a lot of these issues that people used to have. There's still things to argue about, but there's much less what people just be trying to call things out on. And it was just not fun. It's like, okay, I don't want to argue with you about this stuff, so I'll just let you have it. And then just losing a game because your opponent always got like an extra 2 inches or always had cover and argued that you couldn't get cover. And it's like, sucks the fun out of the game. And then they are not, what's it called? Carefree people to play with. Like they're the very sore winners, as it were. Bless the Photon. May they get to 3rd next year. Yeet!
When the opponent has 2 more inches than you. Am I right, chat?
Oh my god. Oh yeah, demons don't have a dedicated kill team. They've not had like any proper release beyond... Actually, Sangars aren't even demons, are they? The only new demon models are Age of Sigmar models, and most of them didn't even make it to 40k. When a 40k competitive player is trying to fight me, so I ask him how line of sight works, give me 5 hours to escape this situation. So when new editions came out like 11th, next year all models transfer to the new edition.
The current cover rules is, you get cover, I get cover, your mum gets cover, your mother's cats get cover, and Bob your mother's brother gets cover.
Yeah, I kind of do like that. It's just sometimes the new line of sight blocking terrain. It's like, if I can see most of that model, but there is a bit of ruin in the way, does that mean I don't get to see it? Because the ruins block line of sight. But generally, I think it's only if a model is like... I don't know, like, if a knight is stood over a ruin, but the ruin doesn't even cover its ankles, does that mean the line of sight is still... Oh no, they have towering. Okay, Doomstalker, that doesn't have towering. Like, if it's only covering, like, for not even half of a Doomstalker, does it still get blocked line of sight? Oh, gosh. Oh, gosh. Line of sight is line of sight in my opinion, but when you move it, it's state your intent to the other player. Yeah. Someone has to show love to the classics. Oh, you're working on a Blood Bowl stuff? Ooh, Blood Bowl! Like, oh, have you got the no models of a goose? I love the goose. Stating intent is a big way to dodge misunderstanding. Yee. GW sure loves. Look, they gave Blood Bowl a goose, and that just makes Blood Bowl perfect in my mind. GW loves. They've not given a goose to any other anything else. We don't have a goose in Old World. We don't have a goose in Sigmar. Oh, I do have a no model with the geese. Yeah! Honk, honk, mother honker. That makes you instantly one of the coolest people around. I don't have a goose. My goose isn't cut. Working on them now, funnily. Yeah! Doomstalker being blocked by 2-foot tall bush sounds hilarious. that is funny. Oh, I have several vehicles and a lot of basing to do before January. Basing isn't the worst thing. It depends how you do your basing though. What I do for basing is I just throw PVA glue on for base and then just dip them in a tub. Bing bam boom. Basing. Oh wait, basing as in like getting the base coats done, do you mean? Like how I did with the purple? That one's not fun. Contrast paints do make it quicker, mind you, but you do make more mistakes with contrast paints because it flows a lot easier. Or at least I do. I'm always making mistakes with contrast and getting them in the wrong places. The Nastreg is just about dark enough where if it goes under the purple, it does actually taint it. But I don't mind. Maybe just purple should sort that out. There we go. Yeah. Oh gosh, this is so much quicker and easier. That's so cool, man. I wish I had a goose model. My store doesn't stock Blood Bowl. No! The power of Ton Honks is unrivaled. It's true. Congrats on 5k subs, by the way. Just noticed. It ticked to 5k! Oh my goodness. That's really sneaked up on me. Like for ages, we just weren't going up. In fact, my number was kind of just going down most of the time.
When she's feeling the need to relieve some stress, she grabs a rat, read the mod, covers them in PVA glue, sticks them in sand and shakes.
It's true. It's true. I do use technical paints of a sand bath, but I'm trying to vary my cultures and I'm not having great success. Oh no. Oh gosh, low battery on that. Is that working? It's working. Sorry, my charger wasn't plugged in properly on my phone. So the camera broke. Is the goose actually called Tom Honks, by the way? Yeah, I base all my models, including my Templar, like this. I'm thinking about maybe switching it up to a sand for my arts. I kind of don't like that idea. Kind of like all of my armies using the exact same base. More cola. 5k subs doesn't seem like a lot, but imagine 5,000 Inquisitors in your room. Yeek! But they wouldn't fit. Everyone will get squished. Oh, and don't forget to like the stream. Every like on this stream is another Tyranid that's definitely going to be painted. Definitely, definitely, definitely. I said it multiple times, so you know it must be true. But yeah, once it's always the base paints that take the longest time. It's like once you start getting onto dry brushing and highlights, it's so cathartic just being able to paint a model so quickly. Like, remember when we were painting for models, just getting the purple on and we get through 1.5 models? And that's even trying to knuckle down. And in this stream, we've done the pink on the Tyranid Warrior, broke his wing off, attached it, broke it off again, did all the grey on these guys. And got the Nastreg yellow on 2 of them. But imagine 5 dwarf and smiths in your room. Oh, they'd fit in like here. Just 5,000 of them. Dwarves are so tiny. Actually, how many dwarves do I currently have in my room? About 200. Because I got 5,000 points off Old World Dwarves. There we go. 20 miners. There we go. Yeah. Okay, that's a bit too much back there, but whatever. Okay, is that everything? Yeah. It gets done so much quicker. Oh, I've not put the Nastreg yellow on the little things of the base. These weird Tyranid growths that I don't really understand what's even going on with them. There we go. Congrats, Yeet! 5,000 Alpha Legionnaires. We are the models now. No! The Cupcake Heresy gains traction. There's no Cupcake Heresy! But big love hearts to you. Oh gosh. And thanks for all the supports. Okay, we'll get the Tyranid bits here. Wop, 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 wop. Wop, 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 wop. Wop, I just need to wash the brush a little bit. Conjuror loves most of us. Yeah, most of you. I'll go with that. Definitely most of you. No, I love you all. You're all amazing. Yeah. Okay, how are they looking at for a moment? Very fried chicken-y. Do you want some deep fried chicken? And we'll get see how the bad moon. Do you want to test how the bad moon will look on them at the moment? Let's see how this would look. Okay, how is that looking? We just got to... No, well, this is true. She tolerates me at best. No, I love you all. You're all amazing. Yeah. Oh gosh. We'll get this to here. I don't want that much. Get this.
It is certainly looking yellow.
Certainly looking yellow. Oh gosh. I have a bad moon yellow. Okay, that's a bit too watered down. I'll just get this. Soak it up. There we go. Yeah, if you do make mistakes, you can always just get from it. I don't want a lot of a contrast. I just want to go over it relatively quickly. How will it look? This is not looking good. Looking green when I put it over. Huh. Who's your favourite traitor legion? Night Lords. Probably. Okay. Yeah, isn't looking great over the Nastrag yellow. Hoped it would look better. How will Nastrag yellow and how will Bad Moon yellow just look straight over the skin? Big question. Like that's too bright, isn't it? Yeah. Maybe the Bad Moon yellow is a bad choice for it. And you don't know until you experiment. Anyone? Last one. Hello. And I just started painting your first model. Ooh. Wonder has a picture of me on a wall. She throws darts at when bored. You're like the Iron Warriors. And what's your first model that you've been painting? Was a hello, Ross Williams. Okay. What do we like? Every like on this stream is another traitor legion that wins a victory. Okay, how does this look over Nastrag yellow then? Nastrag yellow was fine when we're testing it on the orc stuff. With Bad Moon yellow. How does this look? Doing it like this. Must that look better? I think it's starting to look better. Oh, so this is a wrong brush to be doing this with, though.
Every like on this stream is another victory in the cupcake heresy. A scheme generations in the making, just as planned.
No! The only scheme generations in the making is the colour scheme I'm doing for my Tyranid flash. Which is not going well at all. Okay, maybe it's looking okay. I'm just testing stuff out now. Yeah, Bad Moon yellow straight under the skin doesn't look that good. Uriel yellow over the Nastrag yellow doesn't look too bad. Yeah, but get like that brushed on with a different brush. That's going to be more better at that stuff. What about just straight over the skin? Yeah. Like we do. Yeah, that sucks. No, I don't want that. No, nice drag yellow is definitely a good colour to be a base for it. Okay, let's try some Bad Moon Yellow again. And see how that looks. So this is a bit of an experimentation because as last time I didn't... All it was Last Drag Yellow, Iridan and Dawn Yellow. Uriel, sorry, not Iridan. If we try this over that. Will that look better? I don't want a lot of the contrast paint on my brush, just little bits of it. That does actually look better over the Uriel yellow. Yeah, it looks that doesn't look too shabby. Nice experimentation. Okay, that's a lot off there on my brush there. We just keep going over like that and then get it onto there. Would look okay. That's a bit too much. Yeah, I think the Bad Moon Yellow directly over the Nastrag Flesh is not very good. Yeah, I think adding just to certain highlights to certain areas to try and bring out the yellow pop is a lot nicer. But yeah, if you want to get good yellows, generally trying to go for a brown or pink base is a good way to do yellow over it. Brown will give you much deeper shadows, while pink will allow you to have more shallow shadows to it. Yeah, see the just a single layer of the Uriel yellow over Nastrag and Sundry Dust allows the yellow to be quite strong and prominent without appearing too streaky, which we don't mind the streakiness though. Don't want the Uriel yellow to be too dark. There we go, and we'll just keep going with this. Just got to be very careful I don't, because this is not a contrast paint anymore, so I need to be careful I don't get to where I don't want it. Well, that's looking nicer. It's still not looking how like this. I think it's because it's too bright. Definitely too bright there. I think maybe some aspects of shade will fix that up. Yeah, I think Bad Moon Yellow is a bad choice. But you don't know these things until you paint them. And I could have painted on something else to find out, but you know, that's not fun. I prefer just to experiment while I'm going along, make mistakes, and then just figure out how to fix them. Yeah. But either way, I'm finding Nast
I was
Yellow
about to
is
say, you haven't
definitely-
dunked it in Agrax yet. Give it time. Trust the process.
Yeah. Yeah, the Bad Moon Yellow is... It's not that good. It's okay. Bad Moon Yellow is if you want a really, really vibrant yellow. And I find it only really works if you've already got like something that's close to yellow already down. Like, I find if you're wanting to get a really nice vibrant yellow, going with Sandry Dust and Uriel Yellow over that, then Bad Moon Yellow over that, then Dry Brush Uriel Yellow again gives you a very vibrant, very bright yellow. Oh, there we go. There we go. But yeah, I'm glad I just tested out for theory, so definitely after this, it's just going to be dry brushing Uriel over it. I think the Nastrag Yellow's definitely needed with this colour scheme though, because I want it looking fleshier. So I do want those deeper shadows. And I think it gives it a lot of warmth, like it gives it this deep brown underneath it, which makes it feel more alive, as opposed to just being bright yellow under. Still doesn't feel like a yellow colour, it still feels more like a brown. Maybe it's because I'm going on a bit too thick with it. Maybe I should water it down. Go with thinner coat. Isn't Nastreg though one of the Age of Sigma Auric clans? Or something like that? Or like one of the Bad Moon art? In fact, they're meant to be very vibrant yellow. Not for orcs themselves, but like the equipment and stuff they use. They paint everything yellow. But yeah, we're in a nice process at the moment with the Tyranids. Nastreg Yellow will, because it's a layer paint, and I want to be very careful not to cover up the details and stuff we've kind of already done with the dry brushing. I have a Nastreg. I'm gonna have to be very careful with that process of painting it, so it will take a while again. But it won't take as well as doing all the purple it was. It won't take as long. Hopefully it won't, anyway. And the next most time-consuming process will just be getting all the blues done. Oh gosh. There we go. Oh. Oh gosh, that was way too much. It's fine. As long as it's not dried on, you can just go back over it and take it off and move it elsewhere. You get too much contrast paint in a certain area. Hello, Botsaro. Love for Avatar. I think you're the first VTuber I've seen doing Warhammer. Anything. Good luck, Godspeed. Hope to see more. Oh, thank you. Yeah, we've been doing a lot of Warhammer stuff here. We're a bit too obsessed with Warhammer, maybe. Well, thanks for coming in. Big love hearts to you. Yeah. There we go. Just paint down here. And it should be nice. Yeah. Then we go down to here. Get that all done. Oh gosh. Sorry, my throat's struggling out for a while. My voice has been struggling a lot recently. We've been going a few hours, so it's hurting. Just get this little fellow done. He's a cute little Tyranid. A little... Do Von Ryan Leapers count as lictors? That's what I want to know. Like, are they technically a lictor? Like a subspecies of them that fights with numbers, not raw power? Just gonna spend for next week dying for death? No. I had already written my schedule, but that was because I didn't expect to hit 5,000 subs before next week. So I might have to change it up a little. Although we've got Tides of Torment. So... I don't know. I am looking forward to Tides of Torment. Still don't know which one I want to play first. I think maybe one of the Slaanesh ones would be best. Either the Mask, who's a free lord coming out, or the other character. The Snake Woman. I think probably Snake Woman. She's closest to correct. And the last time we played, we had Slaanesh. We played as Slaanesh. As I can't even remember his name. What is the guy we played as? Keep wanting to say Sazel. Hi, Kalisa. Or Kalixka. Nikari, that's the one, Nikari. Yeah. Okay, so we've got 3 of these guys for Nastreg Yellow. We got a lot of work done today. That was a bit too bright of a yellow. But it's fine, it's fine. I can just go back over with Nastreg again. I'm thinking I need to start, like, you know, doing those steam bath things. And maybe I'll finally just swallow the bullet and get some allergy tablets, because it could just be allergies that's got me. Like maybe I'm more allergic to my cats. Because I think I've always had a little bit of an allergy, like my father's allergic to cats. But sometimes your allergies can get worse as you get older. And the more exposure you get. There we go. Not to be confused with a one true goat, Nakai. Yeah, I always keep calling Nakari Nakai. Okay. Hopefully if a wing doesn't get fixed with this, I'll probably just super glue it on. Because unfortunately it broke at that pin, so it doesn't have like a very good connection anymore. I probably just put too much force in when I originally put the model together. And it bent the pin. And look for something I can put underneath it. On it. There we go. The wing is being supported. Well, thank you everyone for coming into the stream today. Is there anyone I know who's live right now? Mariana, unfortunately. The debut went... No, no one's live. So, I'll just give you big love hearts then. And, oh my gosh, my gloves. So at least these gloves didn't get covered in paint. I mean, they got big tears in them. I don't think that mattered. But big love hearts to you all. Thanks for coming today and talking with me and supporting me and all of that good stuff. Oh my gosh, my good glove just squeaked. Top 10 wing supports. Very sad for Mariana. It is sad for Mariana. Her internet was out. She was meant to debut a new model. Like avatar. YouTuber avatar. And she had no internets. Very sad. More paint on the thingies and for I mean, actually, that might be true in terms of just how thick some of the paint is on my fingers. But it's fine. It's fine. Nobody calls them avatars. I'm just making it so people are aware I didn't mean these models. Warhammer models. Also, some people did call it avatars. But thank you for coming to the stream today. I hope you all have a good rest of your day. Don't forget to like the stream if you've not liked it already, because it makes me know what you like and what you don't. And I hope you have a good rest of your day. Remember to work hard but play harder. And vice versa. No, work hard, play harder. Take care of yourself and be kind to others and vice versa. Eat good food. Sleep well, dream of cupcakes, but don't eat for cupcakes because they're friends and not food. Yay! Bye-bye, everybody. I hope you have a good day. Love you all. I got a schedule up later tonight. I forgot to mention that.